Hey-o, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. AEW Dynamite on TNT tonight was exactly that. An explosively fun episode full of some really fantastic stuff and full of some really bad stuff as well. And we are here to talk about all of it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's AEW Dynamite review. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
We have new AEW Tag Team Champions for the first time crowned on tonight's episode of Dynamite, and it is SCU. The tournament was fantastic. The tournament led up to this finals matchup between SCU and the Lucha Brothers, probably the two most over tag teams besides the Young Bucks in the entirety of All Elite Wrestling. And, if I'm going to bring down a criticism on it, if I'm going to drop the hammer on it, which I think I have to, I would just say the only thing bad about this whole thing, and I'm going to put my distaste for the Lucha Brothers style to the side, and we're going to look at this objectively and fair. And yes, this was a great tag team matchup, but was it the best match of the tournament? No way. And normally, in a tournament, you want the best match to be the final match. You are going to try to build towards that with each match. You're going to try to build the intensity and ramp it up with each one, making it more and more important, more and more dramatic, more and more a fight for the championship, with each battle being better than the last. And the action in this tag team tournament was so goddamn good from the start over the course of these last 4 weeks that by the time we got to this finals matchup between the two very predictable entries, and we got the most predictable of winners due to the story that the AEW heads of creative are trying to tell, it just came off as a little bit underwhelming as a finals to me. We all kind of knew SCU was going to win this thing. I am glad that it didn't go to the Lucha Brothers, having them have that first ever tag team champions of the company underneath their belt. I'm much more preferential to the team that they chose to go with, and I'm happy for SCU, and it was a good matchup. But they barely gave this match half the time of most of the other matchups in the tag team tournament. It was 9:45. We got 15 minutes left of the show, and the two tag teams in the main event are just making their way out to the ring. Just calling it out that maybe it was a little bit unnecessary to see the stupid librarians come out and waste everybody's time. Maybe that first six-man tag team matchup, which was just nothing but an absolute joke to promote Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty. I think Rick and Morty is a great friggin' show. In fact, if you follow me on social media, and if you're not, I don't know why you're not, you can get on the tweet machine and follow me at Nick Nightmare, or you can follow me on Instagram at Nick_Nightmare. But when I've seen all of this stuff announced throughout the week, I was super excited. I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. AEW's got Rick and Morty. What the hell are they going to do? Did they come up with some cool little animated short? Did they integrate characters from AEW into a Rick and Morty style thing that we're going to get to see on AEW? Are they going to have two idiots dressed up as Rick and Morty come out and be with somebody or be part of a match or do something weird? I was all about it. I thought it was okay. It's Halloween. I figured we can get away with something out of the ordinary. But you want to give me the best friends and my least favorite tropical juice, Orange Cassidy, dressing up like Rick and Morty characters, going up against three jamokes that mean absolutely nothing, wasting a solid 10 minutes of everybody's time. To do what? To do what? to hear a pre-taped audio thing of Rick and Morty announcing the best friends and Orange Cassidy on their way to the ring. That was what this was all about. So we can have Rick and Morty on the ring posts, on the turnbuckles, all the logos. That was the Rick and Morty influence tonight. That was garbage. That was garbage. Don't even get at me. Oh, you need to see Orange Cassidy, man. He's just so great, man. When I see something great from Orange Cassidy, I'll tell you what. I'll pop open a can of fucking Tropicana OJ and I'll chug it live for you here on camera because it's never going to happen. He's going to keep coming out, throwing these fucking stupid kicks, making wrestling look like a joke, making himself look like a joke, making the opponents look like a joke, and until I see him go in there and tear it down and actually wrestle with his hands out of his fucking pockets, I don't give a shit about Orange Cassidy. I don't understand the fascination you people have with him. Oh, he's really good. It's so entertaining. It's fun, man. No, it is not fun. It is stupid. It is stupid. It brings down my intelligence level by 100%. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit what anybody else's opinion on it is. My opinion, which is what matters most at this channel, is Orange Cassidy I could do without. The best friends are mediocre at best to me as it is. You're only bringing them down by adding this act and making it even worse of a comedy act than I was seeing with the New Day. Longtime fans of this channel know I am not a fan of overly stupid comedy in my wrestling. There's a time and place for everybody to have a chuckle. This is not how to do it. I didn't appreciate any of that. Outside of that, the rest of the show was pretty goddamn good. We had a weird little promo segment for Brandy Rhodes, which I didn't kind of get. It was very kind of off-putting. It was weird. Awesome Kong was involved. She's chopping up hair extensions. Brandy Rhodes is staring at herself in the mirror. I'm just looking at her chest the whole time because I'm a disgusting pig of a man. But hey, listen, at least I'm honest, right? I call it like I see it. I didn't understand the purpose of it. She's got her sights probably set on Britt Baker and everybody in the women's division, and it was just a little weird, but I appreciate the effort in the promo. The Jon Moxley promo was fantastic. If you want to talk about how intense it was and how exciting it kind of made you, he amped me up. He amped up the crowd. The crowd tonight was fantastic in West Virginia. Great AEW strong crowd. But what did he really say? What did it really mean? Did it have any real importance to it? No. All of these guys that you're going to be listening to are going to sit there and be like, the Jon Moxley promo! Didn't you see how great it was? This is so much better than what he was in the WWE and la-di-di-fucking-da. It was great. He was intense. I've seen that before. Doesn't make him special. Doesn't make him next level. Oh, Jon Moxley's a megastar. Did you see that promo he cut? Give him a live mic every week. Last week you gave him that promo. It was fucking awful. This week he went out there and he knocked it out of the park. With his intensity, and his delivery was over the top, and it was awesome. It was a great presentation. But go back and listen to it. What did he say? He didn't say anything. He took a couple of cheap shots at creative. He wants to play the angle of, oh, I'm the disgruntled employee already. Jon Moxley's been put in high-profile main events. He's pissed off because this match is unsanctioned. Why wasn't he pissed off that his other match was unsanctioned? Anybody want to answer that? Oh, I'm unsanctionable. Then he wants to own it. What does that mean? I'm unsanctionable. It didn't really mean anything. It was cool. Don't get me wrong. It was cool. The guy's energy was fantastic. But his message missed by a mile. The guy's pretty much going out there trying to put over his match with Kenny Omega, which is going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a bloodbath, according to Moxley. That's all he had to say. And he said it in a great way. But don't get it twisted. It's not the second coming of CM Punk's pipe bomb. It's not the new Austin at the King of the Ring 97. Relax. It was a good promo by a decent wrestler. Let's see what this match does, and let's take this slowly. Everybody's got to pump the brakes. You're all so ready to just crown AEW the new champions of pro wrestling that everything they do, you just want to jizz all over yourself. Calm down. Calm down. It was a good promo. It's a good promo. That's all it was. Good promo. But like I said, outside of that as well, I guess I almost glossed over that. I didn't even realize how much that kind of aggravated me until I came here to sit with you guys and talk about this show. But let's do just that, and let's get to this match card. We had Tony Schiavone out on the road with Cody Rhodes today in a couple of segments that I thought were very, very emotional, very dramatic, and lended a lot to the story of Cody Rhodes taking on the AEW Le Champion, Chris Jericho. And you want to talk about how important Chris Jericho can be to a company. He showed his value tonight in spades. He looks like a gigantic walking trash bag. He looks like a doppelganger for Vince Neil of Motley Crue, but not the cool Vince Neil of Motley Crue from the 80s. He looks like Vince Neil now. Looks like he got run over by a Mack truck full of heroin. But when you see him sitting at this table in his little pumpkin blazer with the championship title, and he tried to keep everything civil, and he wanted to talk to Cody Rhodes after they put pen to paper on the contract, and then Jericho wanted to say he wanted to take shots at WWE as well. We're not going to make a mockery of the championship. We're going to sit here and we're going to be like men and we're going to shake hands. And I thought it was all great. And they made it even better because what they did here was they enhanced the storyline. They got more heat for Chris Jericho. They got more sympathy for Cody Rhodes. They got more excitement generated for their matchup at Full Gear. And never once outside of the handshake did Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes touch at all. There was no physicality. Nobody had to flip over a table. Nobody had to go through a table. All you had to do was have a perfectly placed segment for the Inner Circle to wreak havoc and attack Dustin Rhodes in the back while Cody was busy signing his contract, upping the ante on everything. That's how you do it. And that's the value a 48-year-old champion can have to your company. Because he has the frame of mind and the presence to deliver promos that he got out of him tonight, to pull off contract signing segments like we got tonight that did everything that they had to do to get you pumped up for the first real big AEW championship matchup. I can't say enough good things about it. The one little bad thing I will say is this still just the involvement of MJF. The fact that he's been thrown into this and not being on his own path, being the greatest heel that AEW has ever known, is just aggravating to me because they're miscasting him as Cody's buddy. Just because they are in real life doesn't mean we have to see it on camera. I feel like it's detrimental to what is special about MJF. Oh, but we're going to get a turn by MJF. What turn? What turn? MJF is a straight up heel. If you walk and you find him in the street and you come face to face with him, he will spit right on you and then slap your mother in the mouth. He's a heel. But not for Cody. Oh, I love me some Cody. What? I don't like any of that. But, fantastic way to build up the championship matchup. That's how it's done. WWE needs to watch and remember that this is the kind of stuff that they used to do, and that's why their show sucks. And one of the reasons why AEW is so good, this contract signing. And you got to give the credit to Chris Jericho. I've been very hard on him on this channel, and I will be hard on him again because once he gets in the ring, I feel like he makes everybody else look like trash. But Cody Rhodes will probably be his finest hour with Chris Jericho. And I don't know where they're going to go. I don't imagine Cody Rhodes is going to win this thing. And they wanted to announce that there's going to be judges. So now let's get a little bit negative again. They're going to have judges. 3 judges on the outside of the ring. If this match goes its time limit, it's going to go to the judges' scorecard. Which is just a clever way for them to find a way not for either one of these 2 men to be pinned on that night. And if this was not the intended outcome for the Full Gear match, and that's not in fact where they are intending to go, then why do it in the first place? Why do you need 3 judges watching the matchup just in case it goes the whole time? Of course it's going to go the whole time now. What are you, stupid? Well, this match is 1 fall to a finish. Or it will go to the judges at the end of 20-minute time limit or whatever it is. Why be 1 fall to a finish then? Why have that? It's just, come on. It's obvious. There's no reason to do it unless you're going to use it. So we're going to see them do some kind of weird finish with what could be one of the best matchups they've had so far. So I'm a little bit concerned about how they're going to proceed going forward, but this night, what they did was excellent. The first matchup on the show tonight was Hangman Page versus Sammy Guevara. Great match. Great match. Great way to kick off this show. This is the first truly impressive matchup that I have seen out of Hangman Page. And I know I might have said that last week, but that was in a tag team matchup where he was paired up with Kenny Omega. Here he stood out on his own. He went out there against Sammy Guevara, and it's a testament to him as well. This match was very, very good. Hangman Page defeats Sammy Guevara, cuts a promo of his own after the match, which is one of the best promos I've seen out of him. The crowd was really hot for him tonight, and it really did good for his character to be seen on television with the crowd so just excited to be in the presence of Hangman Page, and he has his sights set on Pac at Full Gear. He's going to do some real cowboy shit. And I'm into it. Hangman Page is slowly growing on me. He's pulling me in. And that's what I'm watching for. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys to make me want to love wrestling again and not sit there and just constantly shake my head. It took me a while to get on board with the Hangman, but he keeps pulling off matches like we've seen tonight. He's going to quickly become one of the go-to guys in AEW for your best match of the night. During the commercial break, we seen the Rock and Roll Express backstage meeting with my friends of Private Party, who were my favorites to win the Tag Team Championship tournament from the get-go. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I would have rather them win the whole thing than SCU, but it is what it is. We had a women's matchup on the night featuring Hikaru Shida defeating some girl named Shayna, however they said it. I loved this match. I love the action in this matchup. I don't love the strikingly, blatantly similar design and style that Shida has to a certain Asuka. Now, I have been unfairly comparing many of the Japanese superstars that I have seen in AEW to the ones that we have been seeing in the WWE. Mostly Asuka, because she was the first one to really make an impact and really stand out. But this, you can't tell me this girl didn't make you think of Asuka just from the way she came out with the robe, even her general wrestling garb, her whole outfit just reminded me of Asuka, and then the matchup that she put on reminded me of Asuka circa NXT. And I don't mind any of these little criticisms I'm telling you about Shida when she puts on a match like we got tonight. And hats off to Shayna, who I've never seen before. At least I don't think I've seen her before. I don't remember seeing her before. But I'm not going to forget what I've seen out of her on this night. A fantastic showing for the women's division in AEW, which has been kind of sleepy as of late. It hasn't been the top-notch women's division of all of professional wrestling, but it has been good. But tonight, this match was great. And while you could consider it a glorified squash match for an unknown like Shayna, I think it's more of an opportunity for both of these girls to break out of the box, and they definitely are in heavy considerations for the breakout superstar of the week for this Saturday's head-to-head competitive show as we compare NXT to AEW, but that's for Saturday. We got that cinematic Brandy Rhodes video package, which I thought was very weird, but we'll have to see where that goes. Another really great moment on the night, the Rock and Roll Express came to AEW. The reason they came to AEW was not to start one last run for the championships. It wasn't to really pop a rating or be part of a big match at a pay-per-view somewhere. It was to put over the newer, younger talent. They were going to present the new tag team champions with the beautiful AEW Tag Team Championship belts by the end of the night, but that was not going to be the case because Santana and Ortiz jumped the Rock and Roll Express on the entry ramp, put them through the entrance stage, put them right through the floor of the stage with a vicious powerbomb, very reminiscent of the Dudley Boys when they were doing their damage in the WWE back in its heyday. And I loved every single minute of it. I thought it was great. I thought that Santana and Ortiz really came off looking like a couple of vile villains that everybody's going to want to boo. Ricky Morton, God bless you. And Robert Gibson, God bless you guys. God knows how even old you are. And the fact that Ricky Morton took that powerbomb the way he did, God bless you guys, man. I hope you guys are all right because that was some great stuff. And that is how you make villains. You have them do things like this. And the Inner Circle, this was just one of the many moments on the evening that the Inner Circle was involved in tonight. Definitely making their presence felt on the entirety of the evening. The Young Bucks would come out to try to make the save, and Santana and Ortiz took off, but the damage had already been done. We go back to Cody Rhodes and Tony Schiavone, who were riding to the arena in a limo, making Chris Jericho wait. They were telling some great stories about Dusty Rhodes and a meeting with Willie Nelson at one point. And if you don't know who Willie Nelson is, don't worry about it. He's just a really, really old cowboy that did some really, really classic country music songs. Cody talked about how his mom was going to be at Full Gear and that it might seem silly, but he really just wants to impress his mom. She's seen his dad go down in history, do some of the greatest stuff we've ever seen in the ring, and he wants to be a part of that. He wants her to be proud, and all of the emotion, all of the delivery, everything about it was 100% genuine. And it made you feel for Cody Rhodes. It makes you want to see the kid win. And that's how you produce television. It's a fantastic segment. It was a little bit long, but it was very awesome. It was ruined, though, by the segment that would come next, which was the first six-man tag team matchup on the night. I'm very tired this evening. That's why I'm flubbing all over the place. But the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy defeated John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and QT Marshall. Three guys that we have seen on the show before that are there to do nothing but lose. They're like a Barry Horowitz for the new generation. All three of these guys. Barry 1, 2, and 3. Always there to get their backs patted and to get their shoulders pinned to the mat. Congratulations, you guys. Welcome to the ranks of the Jobber Elite. The Best Friends in Orange Cassidy, dressed up as Rick and Morty characters, trying to keep their wigs on throughout the entirety of this ridiculous matchup. Orange Cassidy with his hands in his pockets. What is he got something going on with that he's got to keep touching himself? He's got to keep his hands in his pockets so he can keep rubbing his oranges to make some Cassidy in his pants? I'm done with it. I hate it. Trent pinned the guy named Silver with the strong zero. Then we got to the contract signing, which we already talked about. This was absolutely fantastic. Chris Jericho was playing with and playing off the crowd. Like I mentioned earlier, he was taking shots at the WWE and how they do contract signings, and this was not what they were going to do. We had the respectful handshake between the two competitors that were going to go head to head, and then we had the video played on the big screen of the Inner Circle attacking Dustin Rhodes in the parking lot, absolutely destroying Dustin. Just brutal stuff. Reminded me of the Four Horsemen stuff back in the day when they were attacking Dusty Rhodes, and in fact they did a very similar angle to Dusty Rhodes where they smashed his arm in a car door. Imagine that. What's old is new, but here it's a little bit more disguised because there was a lot more going on, and it wasn't just blatantly, hey, look, we're going to copy what we did before, like pin somebody with a forklift. It was a lot more subtle, and it was really great, man. It was great, and Dustin doing a great job selling it. If his arm is not broken for real with the ferocity that Jake Hager put into that door slam, then I will be absolutely shocked. And I love the fact that AEW used the knee strike for Jake Hager that got him disqualified from his Bellator fight and is now going to be a move in his repertoire that they are going to use in his character development going forward, which I think is fantastic. I think it's just a great way to go. I'm not a big fan of Jake Hager. I'm not even a huge fan of the Inner Circle just yet. I just think everything that they did on this night with these guys was spot on for a wrestling show. Cody ran to the back to try to make the save, but once again the damage was already done. Jericho, with his pumpkin jacket, was lighting up a cigar in the back as the Inner Circle were making their getaway. Smug ass that he is. Fantastic. Then we had this weird little video game styled package for Kenny Omega before he made his way to the ring. It made mention of Kota Ibushi without actually making mention of Kota Ibushi. It featured that gold lion symbol of the New Japan Professional Wrestling promotion. And I thought it was interesting that some of the iconography and some of the pictures and the phrasing that was being used, it was very weird though. And I thought unnecessary and a little just confusing. I don't understand. I don't know where it's leading. It was like some weird video game person was trying to talk to Kenny Omega, but Kenny Omega was playing this game, or like, I don't know. It wasn't even like a clear ripoff of any straightforward game. It was just a video game cutscene from like your Nintendo days, from the NES days, and I appreciated the 8-bit design and the way it looked great on screen, but I just don't understand the message they were trying to send. All of this was just to lead to Kenny Omega coming out anyway. Apparently it was just a way to make his entrance more grand. I don't know. Maybe there is some meaning behind the lion's head. We'll probably find that out as time goes on. We had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks defeating Kip Sabian, Jack Evans, and Helico. And I like this Kip Sabian kid. I liked him the first time I seen him, and I think that he is another possibility for the Breakout Star of the Week because his participation in this match was fantastic. If this was your first time watching and you've never seen him before, you definitely had to be impressed with what he brought into the ring against three of the biggest stars in the industry. My only criticism of this match would be, do we really have to see Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks on every single Dynamite? They, if you want to say, well, the live crowd goes to see them, well, they can have a dark match, they can go off the air and then they can have the whole big super kick party with the Elite and pretend to still be the Bullet Club and everybody can have a grand old time. But is it really that necessary to have them every single week in matches beating all the people that they employed for their company? Is it really a good look? Do they really are they having a match just to have the match? Because Kenny Omega is in this feud with Jon Moxley. The Bucks really aren't doing anything. So this match just seemed unnecessary. However, it was the most entertaining match of the night. The action in this six-man was fantastic. It wasn't overly repetitive. It wasn't just a bunch of super kicks and V-triggers. And I enjoyed it. I had a fun time watching this matchup. I still don't see what the rest of the world sees in a Kenny Omega. I don't know why everybody thinks he's this super gigantic supernova of stardom that needs to go to the WWE and needs this and needs that. And I think he's great in the ring, but I just don't get the fascination. The same way I don't get why everybody loves Orange Cassidy. Only at least Kenny Omega can wrestle. And I've seen him do it a bunch of times. And he's great at it. But I just don't, I don't know, there's just something about his character that with me as a fan, like I just don't connect. I don't connect with him. Maybe that'll change with time. Maybe the more I get to learn about Kenny Omega and the more I see from him in AEW, the more he'll warm up to me and we can become just as much of a Kenny Omega lover as the rest of you guys out there. But as of right now, he puts on solid matchups. He has been really, really one of the highlights of AEW throughout its inception right now. So hats off to Omega and the Bucks for putting on a great six-man tag. Small points off for giving us 2 six-mans in one match, in one night rather. 2 six-man tag matches in one night. But this was my favorite match of the night, pretty much. After this whole thing, it was made even all the more interesting by the attack once again of the Inner Circle. There were 2 guys in the front row with Rick and Morty t-shirts on, and one had a Rick mask on, one had a Morty mask on. And the Bucks went over there to celebrate and party with the Rick and Morty guys, only to find out that it was once again Santana and Ortiz, and they got the upper hand on the Young Bucks with a sneak attack. They seen Kenny Omega coming in for the save, and they hightailed it on out of there, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes forward from here. The only thing about Santana and Ortiz right now that I can criticize after this night is the name. Proud and Powerful? That doesn't pop, doesn't really sound like a cool tag team name, but, I'm sure they're okay with it, so I will be okay with it. I just, as far as, the names of this year, whenever we get new names of teams and things like that, they've just been very, very underwhelming. They could have came up with something better. Actually, I would have just stuck with Santana and Ortiz because Proud and Powerful sounds like some sort of a woman's anthem. Or some sort of a, like a pride slogan. We're proud and powerful. And there's not anything wrong with that, but if you're not actually part of the LGBTQ community, then you shouldn't be proud and powerful. I don't know. It just doesn't fit. I don't think it really fits. And it doesn't have to be a Latino name. And it doesn't have to be a gang name. That's not what I mean. It just needs to be a little bit better than proud and powerful. And I'm sure they are. I know they're powerful. And I know that they're proud members of the Latino community. But you could have done a little bit better than that. I know they didn't pick it. I'm not blaming them. But I'm not a fan of the new name. Peter Avalon and Leva Bates come out to the ring to do their whole librarian shit, and I just absolutely don't care. If there's one thing that is absolutely WWE level on this show, it is the whole librarian gimmick. I care less about this than I do about almost everything going on in the WWE, with the exception of maybe that whole Lana Lashley garbage bullshit. But this is absolutely a waste of everybody's time. And if the only reason for this to exist was to get us to a crazy rambling rant from Moxley, then this could have easily been erased and you could have just had Moxley come out to the ring and tear shit up. He didn't need to deliver a stunner or whatever, the DDT or whatever it is he did to Peter Avalon, whose promotional skills on the microphone are just absolutely awful because he talks with no emotion and he just has nothing in his voice, and I just can't even stomach the sight of these two. I really can't. I hate everything about it. Then the night would end off with the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament Finals. SCU defeating the Lucha Brothers, becoming the first ever AEW Tag Team Champions in a matchup that was very, very good. It was a solid main event of the evening, but it wasn't given that much time. It wasn't given enough time for a championship matchup. This was not indicative of what you would see in the finals of a tournament that was going on so long. If the WWE did this, I would be all over it. If we went through the Mae Young Classic or the Cruiserweight Classic and we had 10, 15, 20-minute matchups the whole tournament through. And then in the finals, they just gave you a 4-minute back and forth. That you're going to say something about that. So I have to say something about it. Maybe this match would have felt epic. It would have felt huge. It would have felt more special if it was given 25 to 30 minutes. A lot of the matches in this tournament started off each episode of AEW Dynamite with 20-minute long matches. This match in the finals being half that time, with the rest of the card not having anything really of that much importance to it, and just a bunch of randomness, a random women's match, 2 6-man tag team matchups. I think he could have fit more time to the main event because it definitely was well deserved. Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian celebrate with the championships as AEW Dynamite goes off the air for the 5th time in its history on TNT, and I am totally alright with it. I know some of you guys, by the time we get here, probably hate my guts because I tell you guys the truth about how I feel about AEW and how they take a few missteps. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. They are not the saviors of the world of professional wrestling just yet, but they are a viable alternative, and they are one of the 2 reasons why Wednesday nights are becoming the must-see destination for all the professional wrestling fans. But that doesn't mean we can't criticize. That doesn't mean I can't share my opinion, which is the whole entire reason why I started this channel in the first place. And thankfully, right now I have over 2,000 of the greatest fans in all of the world, and we are trying to get to 3,000 and beyond, and that can happen if we get an addition by another wrestling fan, an awesome wrestling fan, a super cool wrestling fan, just like you. If you are not already a member of the Sledgehead Army, which is taking over the YouTube wrestling community in force, hit that subscribe button right now, and then jam that notification button so that you don't miss anything we got going on this channel. Things like the Sledgehammer Shorts series, where this week I dropped, in honor of the Halloween holiday, my sketch drawing of the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Over 2 hours of work compiled into a 3-minute video for your viewing pleasure. Watch him come to life on the page right before your eyes as I draw Bray Wyatt as the Fiend in our Sledgehammer Shorts series. And then check out everything wrong with last week's Wednesday Night War head-to-head comparison review. Week number 4 was great. It was definitely one of the hardest weeks to compare, but we still found a place to put the poop hammer. And I know you guys like that, and maybe you should be dropping down in the comments section below suggestions for the poop hammer for this Saturday's show. Don't forget to use your emojis. Let me see those hammers. Let me see those poop heads in the comments section, and let me know what you thought tonight should be the recipient, or should be in consideration for receiving the official poop hammer, which is dealt out every Saturday night on the Everything Wrong with the Wednesday Night War week in review. If you enjoyed today's show, even though I was all over the place and I was making a lot of vocal errors because I am insanely tired, and I don't know why. Maybe AEW drained all my energy because I am just absolutely wiped, man. So I got a lot of little word flubbles happening. See? Case in point. Flubbles. Word flubbles. I don't even know what that means, but that's the word that came out of my mouth because of my tiredness. So let's do our best to wrap this show up and get through this closing segment. Make sure you smash that like button if you didn't mind my word flubbles. And then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to be brought down a notch and they're up too high on that AEW cloud. And you got to be like, bro, AEW is great, man, but check this out. They still got problems too. And it's not the biggest problems in the world, and I'm not shitting all over AEW, so calm down, you little AEW fans. Just pointing out what needs to be addressed, and that's what a critic does. And that's what we do here on Sledgehammer TV. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. That, my friends, is going to do it. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. That, my friends, now is going to do it. And we are out of here. We will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.